My lovely, lovely, wonderful people, a pleasant evening to everyone. So, beautiful people, I was listening to the current JT's president speaking, the Jamaica Teachers Association's president. His name just eluded me a while ago. It slipped me. But nonetheless, it's a current JTA president, sorry. And he stated something, the obvious fact that many people for decades have been speaking about. The violence that we see in schools and even the wider society, predominantly, not the sole reason, but predominantly, it's a lack of good parenting. So it is as a result of bad parenting, no parenting, improper parenting, and not establishing certain guidelines in the parenting, not holding the children accountable. I don't think people understand the full gamut of how important good parenting is. And when I talk about good parenting, I'm talking about good parenting with affectionate love, good parenting that holds the child accountable, good parenting that encompasses discipline. So it is balanced, it is not imbalanced or out of sync. It is very much balanced. Let me give you some statistics, because sometimes people tend not to hold people credible based on experiences. As though people don't learn through their senses and just live the life, and you see it. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, not grow, go. That when they're older, that child is older, they will not depart from it. It doesn't mean that you won't make mistakes and do some things that are not right, but you come back to your standards and principles, because the child can only go back to what he or she has been taught. The child can only go back to what he or she has been taught. Listen to this. Proper parenting rooted in affectionate love gives a child emotional security. When I say affectionate love, giving them hugs and kisses, touching them, telling them that you love them on a frequent basis. Yes, that's good parenting. It's not spoiling them. Gives the child emotional security, confidence, wisdom, and the ability to build healthy relationships throughout life. Yes, they won't be so. You ever see some children, and when they become very big, they act like them have no sense. Stupid. Just squeeze up themselves as if they're afraid to talk to people, because they're affectionate. They weren't given affectionate love, so they don't know how to relate. Affectionate love, it helps to release the senses. You see how we learn through our senses and teach people how to relate to other people. It also gives the ability to build healthy relationships throughout life. Children who are consistently loved, guided, protected, and emotionally supported tend to develop stronger mental health, and it helps with their mental health too. They don't have to feel like I'm not worthy, I'm not important, I have no dignity, I have no self-esteem. You would have imparted that into the child, that you'd have almost basically implanted it there. So it helps with the stronger mental health, greater self-worth, better decision-making skills, and deeper trust in both family and God. When they feel a love oozing from you physically, they say, I can trust this person because I can feel the energy, that synergy. Affectionate love in parenting includes listening with patience. Bark at the child and getting annoyed quickly. Listen. Even if what they're saying is irritating, you're going to be angry, but you're not going to be sinning. You're going to ease, you're going to relax and listen keenly. Speak with kindness. Don't bark at your children. You're teaching them to be violent and abusive to other people when they're having challenges. Stop it. Showing physical affection appropriately. Obviously, the hugs, the kisses, the I love yous and whatnot. And when I say frequently, I don't mean 24/7, 48/14. But we're talking on a frequent basis, however you consider your frequency. Encouraging and affirming the child, telling the child you are important, you're significant, you're valuable to this earth. Don't say you're worthless and you're coming like your papa and you're coming like your father, you're not going to amount to anything. Stop it. Correcting without humiliation. You can correct them. Honey, come here. When you do this, this is the outcome of that. I'm expecting you to not do this. This is whatever it is. No, you don't do that. Being emotionally present. Hug, let them feel that you love them. Let them feel it. Teaching by example. You can't tell a child one thing and you're living another life. They're going to be watching you to say, oh, so how is she telling me this and I seen her doing that? Or how is he telling me this and I seen him doing that? All right, not a problem. I'm going to follow what they do. That's how, even big people, have you ever noticed? You may dress a particular way or speak a particular way and you find that people start to follow you. Notice it. If big people are doing it, can you imagine picnic? Can you imagine children? Just watch life. I'm telling you. A loving parent creates an environment where a child feels safe enough to grow, to fail. A child mustn't be trepidatious because you're going to beat the daylight out of them because they failed or they made some mistakes. They're going to fail. They're going to make mistakes. You cannot evade that. Learn and to mature. This kind of parenting helps children develop emotional stability, empathy and compassion, confidence and courage, resilience during hardship. They have to develop that. That is why you see people have a lot of mental challenges, because they have not developed resilience during hardship. Respect for authority, that is important. Why you think a lot of these children disrespecting authority is because you taught them disrespect. You taught them disrespect, parents. Yes, you did. Healthy communication skills. One of the things that irks me and irritates me, and I'm not talking about you being shy and is where the shyness becomes almost suffocating, where the child acts almost nonsensical, like they have no sense, afraid to talk. Even big people I see it with. It is one of the most, I can't stand to see it, like you're fool, like you have no sense, like speak. I stop being afraid. No, and I'm not talking about somebody who has a mental issue or some autistic or I'm not speaking about. I'm talking about because of what the bad parenting or improper parenting caused regular normal people. But there is something off. Stronger academic and social performance. Naturally, they were going to put their brain is fully functional and active. They feel confident, so they're going to perform better. The Bible also emphasizes the loving instruction of training up a child in the way he should go, that when he's old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. Although people often use the terms interchangeably, punishment and discipline are very different in purpose and effect. Because punishment, sometimes people use it interchangeably, but punishment in a natural sense or in its etymology can create fear instead of understanding, damage trust between parent and child, produce shame, resentment, or rebellion, teach children to hide mistakes instead of learning from them, increase anxiety, aggression, or low self-esteem. This is all true. And a lot of parents create this in the child. That even when I was listening to the JT president and somebody speaking, saying that, that they say that the parents need to be held accountable, and I totally agree. You don't create a monster, you don't pay for it as well. The monster has to pay for his or her crime, but you too created it, you should pay for it too. Discipline now. Discipline comes from the word disciple, meaning to teach or to guide. Healthy discipline is motivated by love and a desire to help the child grow into maturity and wisdom. Good discipline, it teaches responsibility and consequences. You do something, you have to pay the consequences and you take accountability. Helps children develop self-control because they will know next time me nah do this because me can't deal with the consequences, so let me regulate myself. Corrects behavior without attacking the child's worth. So the child knows, okay, I really shouldn't do that. I feel a little cute, but at least my mother didn't break my spirit or my father didn't break me. Builds character and accountability, as I mentioned. Provides structure and consistency, encourages learning and growth. Examples of healthy discipline include calm correction, explaining consequences, setting clear boundaries, removing privileges appropriately. You don't tell them I'm punishing you from January to December. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's not going to work. Consistent routines, positive reinforcement, modeling respectful behavior. You have to show them respect in order for them to respect you. Don't bark at them like dogs and then want them to talk to you like some swans. That doesn't work. They may do it out of fear when they're young, but when they get older, they're going to become the monsters that you created. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger lest they become discouraged. Some say lest they become angry because they don't want to be rude to you and you're forcing them to be rude to you when you provoke them. And you have a lot of parents who provoke. So although it says fathers, it goes for mothers too. The Lord's discipline the ones he loves. When you sometimes go through challenges and difficulties, it's because God wants you to become purer than gold. So parenting, 90% of the problems that we see are because of bad parenting. anyway, guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those lions, and you can follow me on Instagram.